Hello friends, welcome back again. So in this tutorial we will talk about the hybrid inheritance, that is the last inheritance, and we are going to discuss these, how we can implement these in this tutorial. Okay, so hybrid means combination. Okay, so what the combination happen here? Of course it can be the combination of single plus multiple, or multi-level plus hierarchical, or hierarchical plus multiple. So you can see the diagram here. So we have this type of diagram. It is the hybrid inheritance. So what happened here? Class A, class B, and class C. Till you see this, it looks like you hierarchical. If you try to watch the bottom area, just like class B, class C, and class D, it looks like multiple. So it combined two in one inheritance called as hybrid. I know you are able to understand that what is the concept behind the hybrid inheritance. Okay, so what happened in this inheritance? Class A property inherit by the class B and class C, and we have to create another class D, and class D can inherit the property of class B and class C itself. Class D can access the property of class A, but not directly, but with the help of class B and class C. So we are going to discuss how we have to implement it in this tutorial. So okay, we will move on our IDE and we will implement this example, the hybrid inheritance, how we have to implement it. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so we are in our IDE. So we have to create this type of inheritance. So for that we need four classes. So first I will declare class A. We create here, and then we create class B. So I create class B also. Then I create class C, and then we have to create class D here. Okay, we created class A, B, C, and D, and what we happen to that class B inherit the property of class A as well as class C inherit the property of class A, that we discussed in the previous inheritance, that is the hierarchical inheritance, in which we implement that class A has two variable as well as input method. Then class B call that input method and do the summation, as well as class C also call the same input method of class A and do the subtraction for that. But right now we will do some different thing here. We will not implement the same example in the hybrid. We will do something different. Now what we do first, what we want to do first, we have to create the inheritance here. So to create the inheritance that class B able to access the property of class A, we have to type public, then we mention the class name, that is class A, so that class E also inherit the property of class A. So we have to mention here like that. Okay, if we want that class D can access the property of class B as well as class C, so we know the syntax that how we can implement the multiple inheritance. So same we have to create here public, so it can be accessed class B, comma public, it can be accessed class C. So we learned that in the multiple inheritance, how we can implement or how we can access the multiple classes. Okay, so multiple parent classes. So likewise you can use that. If you have four number of classes, you can implement, just use comma and access modifier and give the name of your class one by one, just like class B, comma public class C, comma public class C, so on. Okay, you can do this. So we implement the inheritance here, that the hybrid inheritance. Okay, so what we have to implement here, so class A has two data type. Okay, and they have two input methods, one method for the roll number, another method for the name. So the roll number method can be used by the class B, and the name method can be used by the class C, and class B and class C has its own method in which we will define the input roll number method and input name method inside the B and C input method respectively. Okay, then we have to define their own data type, just like class, and in class C we will define the total marks. Okay, in class D what we have to do, in class D we will do the processing for the total marks, and we will call the input one by one with the help of class D. Okay, so how we implement this, let's talk about. Maybe just talking about that how we going to implement is more difficult and it looks a little bit complex and makes a confusion. So let's try what we have to do. So I use protected here. Okay, so I create int roll number, so this is the first data type. Then I use protected here, and I use char and num for name. I give the 20 characters for name here. So I create protected here, so void, then we create input rl. So here we will type the info, display the message, enter the roll number, then we use /n here, then we accept the input and store it into the roll number variable. Okay, so this is the first method that the class A will use. Again we define another method here, protected void, okay, input num, that will accept the name. Okay, so again we use cout, enter the name, then we use /n here, and we accept the name here, num. We will be storing num. So why we created these two methods here? I hope you are able to understand why we have to create this. Because the input RL it accessed by the class B, and input num it accessed by the class C. Then they have their own data types respectively, just like class B have the class and class C has the total marks. Okay, so we will explain, we will do this here. Protected, okay, its own data type, so it has, I use char for class, okay, char, so CL for class in which standard he study right now. Okay, so I give this just 4 characters. We can use integer also, but I want to use char here. Okay, then we create its own method. Okay, so void input A, so it is input A. So here is the input method. So what we will do, first we call the input RL. Okay, because we will not create the object of class A so that we are able to access the method of class A, we will do with the help of lower classes. All the things will be done by the class D, not B, not C, not A. So that we have to call in its respective method. So I wanted that its roll number method can be fetched here. So what we have to do, we type input RL here. Okay, create it here. Then we print the message cout, enter the class. Okay, we use /n here, we use scene and store it in CL variable. Okay, we have to use output here also, because in class D we can't access the roll number directly because it is the parent class of its parent class. Okay, so we have to create the output here so that the class D can access it. Okay, we can display the roll number and everything, output can be in class D, but we can't able to access it directly, the data type of class A till the class D. Okay, so we have to mention it here. So I create protected void. So this is the output A. So what will display this output method? It will display the roll number as well as the class. Okay, so cout. So first we use /n here, name. So name stored in nm method. Okay, nm is not the data type of this class B, it is a data type of class A. How we can able to access it? Because we create the inheritance. Okay, so then what we have to display? We have to display class here. So class stored in CL variable. So we'll create the output for class B here. Okay, so you come to the class C. So class C input what? Input name. Okay, so I want to use that I input RL here, so I can't input the name here. Okay, so I have to use it roll number. Okay, if it input roll number, so how it can store into the name? Okay, so we have to concentrate here. So here we call the input RL, so here we have to mention the roll number as well as class. Okay, so this is not roll number, this is not name, this is for class. Okay, so in class C we have its own data type, protected void, own data type int total marks. Then we create protected void input. So this input for C, this is the input method of class C, so I give this name. So cout, first we call the input method of its parent class. So what the class C can inherit? It can inherit the roll number as well as the name. So roll number inherited by the class B. So right now we will inherit the method name. You got it? You able to understand? Okay, so here we print the message cout, enter the total marks. Okay, total marks. So we use /n here, we use scene, and we will store it into the total marks. Okay, the name will be stored using this method. Okay, so we create another method, protected void output C. So this is the output method for the class C. Okay, so we will display the output cout. First we print the name, so we use /n name. So name stored in nm method. Then we will use what? Total marks. So we use /n here, total marks here, then it's stored in tm. Okay, so we did this. Okay, so I forgot to type this basis, so I will type here. We did this, and we will come on the class D. So D has its own data type like per percentage. It has its own input method. Okay, so we use public here because we want to call it outside the class, that is in the main method. So that is why we have to use public here. All the upper classes has protected, only child class can access it, but class D has a public method that can be accessed by the outside the class. Okay, so void display. So display here, so I have to type int here. So first we have to call the method of input method of what? Input method of B. Then we have to call the input method of C. First we want input, type here PER. So what is percentage total marks into 100 divided by 500. Okay, so this is a percentage, and when we then we have to call the output. So first output, we have to call the output. So output, we call the output of B here. Then we use output C. Then we will display our that percentage cout /n percentage stored in PER. So here is an resolve because I type input B here and input C here. So C is good, but output B and input B is not working here, so we have to find out what is the thing. Okay, in class B we type here input A and input output A. So this is the input and output for B class, so I make it B. Okay, so then we come back here to find out that everything is okay. Okay, so everything is good. Okay, then we have to create the object of the class. So which class? D class. So this is D class and object is D. We type here D, then we call display. Okay, so everything is accessed by the class D object and nothing more. How it works, how it can access it, we will discuss later. First we run this program here. Okay, so it's work. So first is enter the roll number. So we will enter the roll number 1213. Then call for class. So class is 12th. So that is why I used characters char here. Enter the name. Name is Sun Shah here. Enter the total marks. So total marks is 450. So we got the result here. You can see here. How it's work we will discuss here. Let's move on. So what happened here when we create the object of class D? So D.display method call. Okay, it called the D.display method. So when it called D in class D void display method, then first is input B. So it called the input B method. So we'll move on class B here. Okay, in class B. So in class B it called the input B method. So what is the first line in input B? Here is again the input RL. So it again called the RL method. So it try to find its class itself, but if it is not able to find it, it will go to the parent class. So what happened? So it go to the class A and this is input RL. So what is the first line? Enter the roll number. So we will display here. Then we type the 1213 and it will store into the roll number. So this method finished. So it go to the class B method. So it call the next line. So next line is enter the class. So same we will display the message here, then we type 12th and it's stored into the CL variable. Okay, so it moved to the again class the method display. So it just finished only input B. So again the next is input C, so it go to the class C. So it is a class C. Here it is try to find it where is input C method here. So what is the first line in input C? Again the method input num. It try to find out in its class itself, but if it is unable to find out, so it will go to the parent class. So what is the parent class is A, public A. So it go to the parent class A, it find the method. So first method is input RL, it skip that. Another method is input num, that is correct. Then it call this line, compile this line, run this line, and we will show it here. Then we type sunshine, it will store into the num variable. It finished num, it go to the class C again, input method. Another line is total marks. Okay, so we will get the total marks here, and we type the 450 and store into the total marks. So it finished the method input C. So in PER it calculate the percentage. So this is a percentage formula. Then we have to display the output. So it go to the output B. So it is mentioned in the class B. We know it because try to find out its class D, but it is not able to find out. So it try to find out its first class, then its second class. Okay, if it is not able to find. So first class is class B. So class B, it got the input output here. So it display the roll number and class. We can see here it finished the output. It go to the again the class D method display. The next is output C, which is in the class C. Okay, first is check the B. If you're unable to find out in the B, then it go to the class C. So in C, first method is input C, skipped it, and another is output C. This is correct, and it will display the name and total marks that we can see here, the name and the total marks. After finishing this method output C, another statement or line is C out percentage. So it display the percentage here. So this way it will work. I hope you are able to understand how it works. So thanks for watching this.